I am so stoked to have my next guest join us. His debut album, Sunflower, is out right now. It is Briston Maroney.
What's
Here
up,
he is.
y'all?
Briston, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love the aesthetic. By the way, this is a
Thank
real
you.
background, and I hope yours is not a green screen.
Mine is a green screen. I'm in a studio in Hollywood. Just kidding. That's
Very
not
realistic.
true. It's a yard. I'm in a yard in Tennessee.
Well, it's a very
Yeah,
good green
thank you.
screen yard that you have.
Thank you. It was an investment, but it paid off. Clearly.
And the lighting is the lighting is so
Yeah.
on point. You have the sun pointing in the right direction and all that
Very
stuff.
organic. Yeah. Sometimes it just works out.
Where are you checking in from?
I am in Nashville, Tennessee right now. You can probably hear the little birds chirping. It's like a perfect spring day here.
I hear them.
Yeah. They're lovely.
So tranquil and quaint. Is this where
Yeah,
you've been
it's
holed up, so to speak, during this time?
mostly, yeah, all around between here and Knoxville, Tennessee. A little bit of time in Florida with my mom, but for the most part, yeah, a lot of time at this house. This is my girlfriend lives at this house now, but this is the first house I moved into in Nashville. That's like all of our like crazy creative artsy friends have all lived here at some point, and so like we've all just this has been like a haven. It's been awesome.
Wow. So have you guys been getting
Yeah.
together in your quarantine bubble, so to speak, and
Yeah.
being able to play music?
Luckily my little pod was a lot of my really close like creative friends, so we've definitely been able to keep each other company and keep each other like motivated and having as much fun as you can in a period of time like this.
Yeah, it's such a unique situation, and especially for someone like you who's used to being on the road, whether it's a 2-month tour or a handful of shows, you're always doing something. Have you been able to fill in that rush of being on stage and seeing fans and things?
No. Long, like, yeah, the short answer, no, which has been a really, really wild experience. And I know, I'm sure that some people have been able to like, to figure that out, to find replacement ways for that. But I've really learned that touring and honestly just connection with people through music is really essential for my happiness, which is, once I realized that, it's made it easier to kind of just be patient and accept that like once things are able to pick back up, I can be there again. But yeah, it's been tough, man. I am obviously not alone in that feeling, but it's been really hard lately to not be around people and to not be sharing music with people.
So what matters differently to you now versus a year ago?
Whoa, that's a great question. People, the connection between the music I get to make and the people that we play it for on the road. That was always the most important thing to me. But I truly like even thinking that I was appreciating the opportunity to tour and share music with people, even thinking I was appreciating that fully, like I've learned how much I took that for granted.
So without touring and being in one place, how much of the material on this album was created over the course of the last year?
We actually wrapped up the record like maybe 2 weeks before everything got shut down. So I got to spend all of quarantine with the record done. So that was a blessing in a lot of ways, and also drove me literally insane in a lot of in others. So I had so much time to sit with this record that I've definitely like had spiritual warfare with it, of like some days being like so glad to have it and so thankful to have it done during this period of time, but then other times just analyze it so heavily because there was nothing else to do, that I've convinced myself that I'm terrible and that I suck and I should not do this. You know what I mean? So like it's been total roller coaster up and down. But I think that's why I love it the way that I do now. I just feel connected to it the way that I do,
That's really interesting. You're not the only artist that has released new material, a collection of material that was written before this whole situation. When you look at that Briston who created those songs and those lyrics and those words, again, going back to what mattered differently a year ago to now, how does Briston look at Briston a year, 2 years ago?
Ooh, very, very different person. Yeah, I airplane, sorry. I think the biggest difference, like like I said, I certainly took a lot of things for granted, but I really had to do like a major ego check in this period of time of like, so many of my thoughts when we were making this record were like, about myself and about how this record was going to like represent me, and if it was going to be, give people the right idea of me in maybe ways that don't really matter. You know what I mean? Like a lot of kind of ego driven sort of thing. So like now looking back, I having this record and no one hearing it and just being alone with it in my room for 6 months made me realize like, man, I need to be making records that like are either gonna be like, helping people with this music should be my priority, but also like I need to be making music that's fulfilling to me outside of just like it's sounding cool. You know what I mean? Like I want to be making music that like genuinely is fulfilling to me, which I do feel about this record, but I think it's just even more precious and even more like important to me now.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because I've heard the album and it's great, number one, but number two, one of the songs I'm really digging on there is called The Kids.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It's so good. Sonically, so catchy, but then lyrically, it just seems so, I don't know how to describe it, but it very much seems to be inclusive of your fan base, especially the part of the song where you're saying all for one and one for all. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I interpreted it.
No,
what
not
was
at all.
the catalyst for that one? How did you get inspired to put that one together?
Oh, man, that's crazy. This is so wild. This is the first time I've gotten to talk about that track. So thank you for saying that. Yeah. I mean, that song, I look back on that and I'm like really happy to know that we have a track on there that is just so straightforward. Like, hey, even if you don't like all these other songs on this record, like you can still come hang out with us. You can still sit with us at the lunch table kind of thing. So like that song, I wrote that song while we were on tour. There was a day we had off and the band and we were staying at this like little Airbnb that had a backyard, and we were all sitting in the back and just like cooking out and hanging. And we had like a show that night, and it was like this beautiful summer day. And truly like just such a formative moment of being like, whoa, I love these people and literally would not be getting to do anything that I'm getting to do without these friends and these like this family, that music has allowed me to develop. And so like, yeah, I feel the same way about the people that listen to this music. Like genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I could not be more thankful for the kindness that people have shared about this record. I mean, truly, like, yeah, I mean, that song is about just having a true moment of being like, forget everything, like, thank you. You know what I mean? Which like, I just want to do because so many people have done for me. Like music has been that for me for so long. Like bands and artists and music in general have been my family a lot of times. So that it's really important to me. I really appreciate you saying that. That's sick.
And then of course the single that everybody has been kind of buzzing about. It's still cool if you don't. Was that part of the early stages of songwriting, or where did that fit in?
I want to say that was the last song we wrote for the record, maybe. I wrote that one with John Congleton, who produced the record, and we co-wrote some other stuff together too. But yeah, I brought in a really, really loose idea of that song to him when we first met. And he immediately was like, what if it was about this? And then it just became this thing where like, it was a really cool way for us to become comfortable getting to know each other, to kind of write this like lighthearted, but like also sort of serious song about just like a really universal feeling of like having a crush on somebody and not knowing how to say it and acknowledging that you're like a total dork.
It's so awesome. I was immediately transported back to 6th grade, 12 years old, with my 6th grade crush, hoping she would sign my yearbook, and then rereading what she wrote to me,
right,
constantly over the summer.
Yeah. Oh man, you are not alone. You are not alone.
So therefore, that should be the video. It should be 12-year-old Briston in class, passing notes back and forth.
We're actually doing a listener based music video where we've asked people to send in pictures, like their cringiest middle school pictures. And we're doing like a lyric video with all of the cringy middle school pictures as the background. So like, dude, it was crazy. Like we got like 2,000 people send in cringy middle school pictures or something. So like, it was a great feeling to know that and be like, wow, I wasn't the only person just like rocking cargo shorts and flip flops that were like just way too big and always like having Gatorade stains around my mouth at 13 and thinking I was just the man.
The coolest. Every girl wanted to go to the dance with you.
You know, I will say my Axe body spray did smell really good, and I still use it to this day. So maybe I gleaned something from that period of time. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm digging the album. It's about time. I know this has been a long time coming for you, and
thank you.
We look forward to seeing you back here on tour. Obviously,
absolutely.
That's a thing. It's coming. I feel it.
Yes. Absolutely.
And thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Dude, you rock. I really appreciate you taking the time as well.